Frankenstein's bride joined the army. The laughter hit her like gunfire. 200 recruits roaring at the small blonde woman covered in scars, burns crawling from her jaw down her neck, chemical marks covering both forearms, skin that screamed survivor of something unsurvivable. She didn't flinch, didn't react, just kept picking up the fallen tray with steady hands while they photographed her like a circus freak. Tyler Hawkins, the general's golden son, leaned close. This section's for real soldiers, Scarface. Medical tense that way. She looked up, eyes cold as Arctic. Tomorrow, 0600, shooting range. Bring witnesses. Nobody laughed then, because something in her voice promised that tomorrow everything they believed would shatter completely. Subscribe now and follow Elena's story to the end. Comment your city below so I can see how far this journey travels. 200 recruits packed the mess hall at Fort Benning that Tuesday morning. Elena Carter stood in the food line tray in hand trying to disappear. Impossible. The scars made sure of that. They started at her jawline. Twisted tissue pink and silver crawling down her neck, vanishing beneath her collar, reappearing on both forearms. Some looked like chemical burns. Others like old surgical wounds. A few resembled rope marks, deep grooves where something had bitten into flesh over and over. You'll check out the new freak show. Tyler Hawkins, 6'3", son of a Marine general. He owned the corner table with his crew, the elite recruits who'd already established the pecking order. What do you think happened? Tyler's voice boomed across the cafeteria. Car accident, meth lab explosion. His crew laughed. Jessica Monroe covered her mouth. Kevin Parks snorted through his wire-rimmed glasses. Derek Santos pounded the table. Elena kept her head down. Moved forward. The server behind this counter wouldn't meet her eyes, just slapped food onto her plate like she carried disease. Seriously, though, Tyler stood now playing to his audience. Did nobody screen her, "We recruiting burn victims for diversity points now"? Laughter rolled through the mess hall. Not quiet chuckles, loud, cruel, the kind that echoed off walls and buried itself in bones. Elena's hands stayed steady. She picked up her tray, turned, scanned for empty tables, found one in the far corner, started walking. "Hey, Scarface!" She didn't stop. "I'm talking to you." She kept walking, shoulders down, head low. Private Tommy Chen half stood from his seat. "Hey man, maybe leave her. You her boyfriend." Tyler wheeled on him. "Both of you need mommy to fight your battles." Tommy sat down fast. Elena reached her corner table, set down her tray, started eating. Mechanical, precise, like she'd trained herself to function while being watched by hostile eyes. Tyler exchanged looks with his crew. "Watch this." He walked toward her. Jessica, Kevin, and Derek followed. Wolves circling wounded prey. The mess hall went quiet. Drill Sergeant Patricia Vance watched from 3 tables away. Her eyes narrowed, but she didn't move. Not yet. Tyler stopped in front of Elena's table. His shadow swallowed her food. "This section's for real soldiers, sweetheart. Medical discharge tents that way." Elena kept eating. "Hey!" Tyler slammed his palm on the table. "I'm talking to you." Nothing. Kevin leaned in. "Rude not to answer when someone addresses you." Nothing. Jessica laughed. "Maybe the scars go deeper than skin. Brain damage, probably." Elena set down her fork. Slowly, she folded her napkin, perfect square. 4 corners exactly 90 degrees. Tyler leaned down, face inches from hers. "What's the story? A house fire, industrial accident? Tell us what made you look like a horror movie extra." Elena stood, tiny compared to him. Barely reached his shoulder. Everything about the moment said she should run, should cry, should break. Instead, she met his eyes, held them. 3 seconds. Her eyes were ice, blue and completely empty. "Tomorrow." Her voice came out flat, no tremor. 0600, shooting range. Tyler blinked. "What?" "You want to know if I belong here? Tomorrow, shooting range. 0600, bring witnesses." Tyler's grin spread wide. "She talks and she thinks she can shoot." He turned to the mess hall, arms spread. "Everyone hear that Scarface challenged me to a shooting match." Whistles, laughter, phones coming out, texts flying. Elena picked up her tray, walked past Tyler toward the exit. Her posture shifted, shoulders back, head high, stride measured, not running, not shrinking, moving like someone who'd walked through worse rooms than this. Sergeant Vance watched her go. "You see something?" Drill Sergeant Haynes asked, is settling beside her. The way she moved when he challenged her. "That's not civilian bearing." "Probably watched too many military movies." Vance shook her head slowly. "No, that's something else." What nobody in that mess hall understood, what Tyler Hawkins couldn't possibly imagine, was that the woman he'd just humiliated had survived things that would break every person in that room, and tomorrow the first crack in his confidence would appear. Elena lay on her bunk that night, darkness pressed down. Around her, whispers floated through the female barracks. Probably some drug addict who got clean. "I heard she set the fire herself. $50 says she doesn't show tomorrow." Elena controlled her breathing. In for 4, hold for 4, out for 4. A technique she'd learned in a place these recruits couldn't imagine. "Hey," Sarah Mitchell's whisper came from 2 bunks down. "You okay?" Pause. "Fine. I was an EMT before this, seen a lot. Nothing shocks me. If you need to talk." "Thanks, I'm good." Sarah nodded in the darkness. Let it drop. But she'd noticed something about Elena's scars. The pattern, the placement. Those weren't accident marks. Those were torture marks. 3 bunks over in the male barracks, Tyler couldn't sleep either. His father had raised him better than this. General Hawkins preached respect, discipline, brotherhood regardless of circumstance. But Tyler had been performing, establishing dominance, choosing an easy target. The realization made him uncomfortable. He pushed it away. Tomorrow he'd prove his point. She'd fail publicly, learn her place, maybe drop out. Problem solved. Except a voice whispered in his skull, "What if she doesn't fail?" He pulled the pillow over his head. 5:45 hours. Mist hung over the shooting range. Cold. Ghostly. 40 recruits had gathered by 0550. Word spread fast. Nobody wanted to miss the show. Tyler arrived at 0555 with his crew. Derek carried coffee. Better than Netflix. Kevin had his phone ready. "This goes viral, watch." Jessica stretched. "Almost feel bad. She's going to humiliate herself." "Don't feel bad." Tyler cracked his knuckles. "She asked for this." 558. No sign of Elena. "Told you," Derek crowed. "Chickened out. Probably crying in her bunk." "I'm here." They spun. Elena stood 10 feet behind them. Nobody had heard her approach. BDUs crisp, hair pulled tight, face clean. In the gray morning light, her scars looked like war maps. But Corporal James Davis noticed something else. The range instructor had 2 deployments under his belt. He'd come expecting to send everyone home after watching Incompetence. Except Elena wasn't standing like an incompetent recruit. Feet shoulder width, hands clasped behind her back. Weight forward. That stance took months to learn. "All right," Davis called out. "Everyone behind the safety line, Carter front and center." 40 recruits formed a gallery, phones out, grins ready. Tyler took front position, arms crossed, smirk locked. Davis gestured to the weapon table. "Standard M4 carbine, load aim fire. Stationary targets at 50 meters. Elena approached. On the table lay a disassembled M4, broken into component parts. Davis had left it that way. A small test. "You'll need to..." Elena's hands moved, fast, fluid, automatic. Bolt carrier group into upper receiver. Click, charging handle. Click, lower receiver, pin seated, magazine well checked. 11 seconds. Davis's mouth fell open. "Do that again." Elena broke the weapon down without being asked. Faster this time, then reassembled. 10 seconds. Eyes never looking down. Working by touch alone. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. That wasn't beginner speed. That was the speed of someone who'd assembled weapons in darkness under fire with adrenaline screaming through their veins. Kevin lowered his phone. "That's faster than regulation time." "Who taught you that?" Derek demanded. Elena didn't answer. She loaded the magazine with the same fluid precision. Brass cartridges sliding home with mechanical efficiency. "Range is live." Davis's voice had changed. Curious now. "Commence firing." Elena brought the weapon up. Stance shifted, forward lean, elbows bent, stock seated in her shoulder pocket, barrel steady as stone. She fired, 40 rounds, controlled pairs, sharp cracks echoing across the range. She didn't flinch, didn't blink, just maintained breathing rhythm, firing on exhale, resetting between shots with minimal movement. Magazine empty, weapon safed. Stepped back. Davis walked down range. His pace slowed as he got closer. He pulled the target down, stared at it, carried it back with an expression caught between disbelief and something like awe. 2-inch grouping, center mass, every single round within a circle the size of a baseball. 50 meters, iron sights, 40 hostile witnesses, perfect score. Davis keyed his radio. "Sergeant Vance, you need to see this." Tyler's grin cracked. "Beginner's luck, moving targets, now." Jessica nodded fast. "Yeah, let's see her under real pressure." Davis looked at Elena. "You up for moving targets?" Elena nodded once. Sergeant Vance arrived as the system activated. She took the target sheet, studied it. Her eyes flicked to Elena, then back. "Not good for a recruit." "Perfect." "Ready on the line," Davis called. "Targets pop random. Engage as they appear." Elena took position. Breathing steady, stance perfect, combat stance. Vance recognized it immediately. That wasn't range stance. That was the stance of someone who'd fired while being fired upon. First target popped, 30 meters. Left. Elena's reaction time was inhuman. Crack, center mass. Second target, 50 meters, right. Crack, center mass. Third target, 20 meters. Dead ahead, crack, headshot. Targets kept coming. Random intervals, random distances. Elena hit them all. 15 out of 15. Shit. Nobody hit 15, not first day, not without years of training. Tyler's face had gone white. Kevin's phone hung forgotten. Jessica stared with her mouth open. Derek looked physically ill. "That's not possible." Someone whispered, "That's sniper accuracy." Vance walked to Elena, voice low, private. "Where did you learn to shoot like that?" Elena's eyes met hers, empty, guarded. "Natural ability, Sergeant." "No, that's years of training, special operations level. Who are you?" On a micro-expression. "Fear, gone in a heartbeat. Just a recruit trying to prove I belong." Vance studied her long. "We'll see about that." She walked away, phone already in hand, already making calls. Something was very wrong here, and she intended to find out what. The mess hall that evening buzzed different. Elena sat alone, but the whispers had changed. "Did you see how she handled that rifle like it was part of her? Moving targets that veterans miss. She hit all of them. Maybe she's prior service, washed out of something." Tyler sat with his crew, but the energy had shifted. He poked at food without eating. "Something doesn't add up." Kevin spoke quietly. "That skill doesn't come from nowhere. My uncle owns a range. What she did takes thousands of hours." Jessica leaned in. "What if she's a plant testing how we react to someone different?" Derek shook his head. "That's paranoid." "Is it? She shows up looking like she's survived a war, gets harassed, challenges the biggest guy they see in company, turns out to be better than all of us. That's not coincidence." Tyler pushed his tray away. "My father has database access. Tonight I make some calls." Chetty. Classroom next day. Tactical planning. Captain Reynolds projected terrain maps. Plan a patrol base using this topographical data. Identify defensive positions. Supply routes, vulnerabilities. Teams of 5. Elena found herself grouped with Tyler, Jessica, Kevin, and Derek. The universe had a cruel sense of humor. Kevin spread the map. High ground here for observation. Machine gun on this ridge. Ammo cache central for equal access. Escape route through this dry riverbed. Elena stood back, silent, watching. Tyler broke first. "You're obviously not just some recruit, so enlighten us." Elena moved to the table. Her finger traced the map. "This high ground observation post. Wrong." Kevin bristled. "That's textbook. Textbook gets people killed." Silence. "This elevated position creates silhouette exposure against the sky. Anyone with thermal imaging identifies your personnel, tracks your movements, picks off targets before you know they're there. Her finger moved. This wadi, dry riverbed, looks safe, natural barrier, but flash flood risk. One rainstorm and your escape route becomes a death trap, pinned against high ground. No way to maneuver. Moved again. Ammo cache. Central seems logical. Critical vulnerability. Indirect fire mortar rocket central cache becomes secondary explosion. One hit you lose ammunition and everyone nearby. Single point of failure. Captain Reynolds had stopped behind their table, listening. That analysis of thermal threats and terrain vulnerabilities. His voice came slow. Where did you learn that? Elena's shoulders tensed. Basic tactical principles, sir. No, that's not beginner intuition. Not advanced conventional training either. That's special operations analysis. His eyes narrowed. You look familiar. Have we met? Fear flashed across Elena's face. Gone instantly. No, sir. Reynolds held her gaze. His combat-honed instinct screamed wrong, wrong, wrong. But without evidence, he let it drop. Incorporate her suggestions. All of them. Elena walked back. Derek whispered to Kevin, what if she's CIA undercover? Kevin shook his head slowly. Or military intelligence, testing for problems in basic training. Jessica paled. What if we're failing some kind of evaluation? Tyler said nothing, but that night he would call his father. Tonight he would demand answers. Tyler sat outside his barracks, phone pressed to his ear. Dad, I need you to look someone up. Elena Carter, new recruit. General Marcus Hawkins sighed. Tyler, I can't just access personnel files. She has scars everywhere, burns like torture, but she shoots like special forces, expert level, knows tactical analysis we haven't even learned. Pause on the line. What kind of scars? Chemical burns, maybe torture, from her face down her arms. Bad dad, really bad. Longer pause. Tyler, his father's voice changed. Whatever you're doing, stop. What? Leave this woman alone. Why? Because if she's what you're describing, you're playing with fire. There are things in this military that don't exist on paper. People who've done things that never made news. If she's one of them, stay out of her way. Dad? I mean it. End this, now. Line went dead. Tyler stared at his phone, but his father had sounded scared. General Marcus Hawkins, 3 wars, decorated Marine, scared. What the hell was Elena Carter? Week 2 brought the obstacle course. Fort Benning's O course broke soldiers. 30-foot cargo nets. Balance beams over water pits. Walls requiring teamwork. Rope swings over mud trenches. Average time 10 to 12 minutes. Fast time under 9. Only the elite broke 8. Elena had avoided attention since the range. Gone through drills without standing out. Other recruits left her alone now, unsure what to think. But Tyler couldn't let go. His father's warning haunted him. The mystery ate at him, so he issued a public challenge. One more chance, Carter. His voice carried across the training field where 200 recruits waited. Beat my time on the O course. We're done, we'll leave you alone. Admit you earned your place. Pause. Lose and you admit you don't belong. Public. In front of everyone. 200 witnesses, multiple officers, cameras rolling. Elena looked at him, exhaustion showed around her eyes. 2 weeks of constant testing, constant harassment, constant vigilance. But she nodded, short, sharp. Tyler ran first. Athletic, strong, fueled by wounded pride. He attacked the course with everything, walls handled with raw power. Beams crossed with natural confidence. Rope swing executed with brute strength. He pushed hard, gasping by the end. Crossed the line at 8 minutes 42 seconds. Top 5%. Crowd cheered. Crew slapped his back. Tyler jogged back, catching his breath. Your turn is Scarface. Try not to cry on the cargo net. Elena approached the start. Deep breath. 4 counts in. 4 counts hold. 4 counts out. Begin. Haynes clicked the stopwatch. She ran. Not frantic. Smooth. Efficient. Conserving energy. First wall. She pulled herself up one-armed while securing rope with the other. Simultaneous. Advanced technique showing training far beyond basic. Rope swing, caught it swung across landed rolling. But not an athletic roll, a tactical roll, shoulder to opposite hip, coming up in fighting stance, hands ready. The kind of roll you did expecting to come up shooting. General William Stone stood near the viewing platform. Two-star general, inspection tour. He'd started his career in special operations. That role wasn't from basic training. That was combat training, balance beam. Most recruits crossed carefully, arms out, testing steps. Elena crossed at near-run speed, arms barely moving, core control perfect. The balance of someone who'd crossed collapsed bridges, narrow ledges, where falling meant death, not wet clothes. 6 minutes, ahead of Tyler's pace. Crowd noise increased. Then the cargo net, 30 feet of wet rope, usually climbed slow for safety. Elena attacked aggressively, hand over hand, feet finding purchase, 2/3 up. Her foot slipped. Wet rope betrayed her. She caught herself. Professional reflexes. But the stumble cost momentum. Her arms shook, weeks of exhaustion hitting at once. Tyler saw his chance. "Choke," he screamed. "Just like you'll choke in combat. You're not built for this." Derek joined. "Give up Scarface, go home to mommy." Jessica piled on. "Everyone can see you're about to fail." Elena hung there, arms trembling. For the first time, genuine uncertainty crossed her face. The weight of it all, the proving, the isolation, the harassment, the endless control. But she climbed, through pure will, reached the top, down the far side. Slower, mechanical, dropped the last 6 feet, crouch, impact absorbed, stood. 8 minutes, 51 seconds. 9 seconds behind Tyler. Despite the slip, the fatigue, everything. But Tyler didn't care about close. He pushed through the crowd, positioned himself in front of her, size advantage, dominance. "Admit it, you don't belong." He grabbed her shoulder, hard, spun her around. "Say it." The sound of fabric tearing cracked across the field. Every conversation stopped. Every movement ceased. 200 people frozen. Tyler's grip had caught the shoulder seam of Elena's BDU. Stressed fabric tore across the shoulder blade, exposed skin, and the tattoo. Black ink, professional military work. A wolf skull with crossed daggers. Text above Shadow 9. Text below Operation Blackfire. Coordinates underneath. Latitude and longitude. A place. A moment. A memory carved in flesh. 3 seconds of absolute silence. Then Private Martinez gasped. His brother served Special Forces. He'd grown up hearing stories that never made news. "Oh my God," his voice shattered the silence. "That's the Honduras mission." "Bye." General Stone stopped mid-sentence on the viewing platform. His face went white. He stepped forward, started walking toward the obstacle course. The crowd parted without being asked. Officers snapped to attention as he passed. He stopped 3 feet from Elena. His face was unreadable. Decades of military discipline controlling whatever churned beneath. He raised his hand, slowly, the most deliberate salute of his career. "Staff Sergeant Elena Carter," his voice carried across the silent field. "Shadow Unit 9, Operation Blackfire." Every word fell like a hammer. "Sole survivor." Tyler's hand dropped from Elena's shoulder like he'd touched electric wire. 16 KIA, 96 hours behind enemy lines. Cartel territory. Zero extraction support. Stone's voice didn't waver. Captured, tortured 72 hours. Gave up nothing. Escaped alone. Walked 40 miles through jungle with third-degree burns and a broken leg. Elena stood motionless. Recovered intelligence that prevented coordinated attacks on 3 American embassies. Saved an estimated 400 civilian lives. Stone's salute held. Silver Star, Purple Heart, Bronze Star with Valor, Distinguished Service Cross nomination pending. 200 recruits stood in stunned silence. The woman they'd mocked. The scars that they'd laughed at. The person they'd called Frankenstein's daughter. She was a ghost, a survivor of something that killed 16 trained operators. A hero whose story was classified above their clearance level. And she'd said nothing, taken their abuse, proven herself on their terms, without once revealing what she'd already survived. Tyler's legs buckled. He dropped to his knees in the dirt, not from command, from the crushing weight of him understanding exactly what he'd done. Martinez's whisper carried in the silence. Shadow 9. Everyone died. Everyone. Except her. He looked at Elena with something between terror and awe. She walked out of hell alone. General Stone lowered his salute. At ease, Staff Sergeant. Elena's posture didn't change. Permission to continue training, sir? Stone studied her face, saw the walls, the control, the absolute refusal to be defined by what she'd survived. Granted, he turned to the 200 frozen recruits. What you just witnessed stays on this field. Understood. Yes, sir. The response came ragged, shocked. Stone walked back toward the viewing platform. But he paused, turned back. Staff Sergeant Carter. Sir. My office. 1800 hours. Yes, sir. He left. The crowd remained frozen. Elena bent down, picked up the torn piece of her BDU, folded it precisely, tucked it in her pocket. Then she walked past Tyler, past his crew, past 200 recruits who now understood they'd spent 2 weeks tormenting someone who'd survived things they couldn't imagine in their worst nightmares. She didn't look at any of them, just walked. Shoulders back, head high. The same walk she'd used crossing 40 miles of jungle with burns covering her body and a bone sticking through her leg. Sarah Mitchell watched her go. Tears streamed down her face. She'd known the scars meant something. She hadn't known they meant this. Tyler remained on his knees in the dirt. His crew stood around him, silent, pale. Tyler? Kevin's voice came out strangled. Tyler, get up! He couldn't. The weight of what he'd done pressed him into the earth. He'd called her Scarface. She'd earned those scars being tortured for 3 days while protecting information that saved 400 lives. He'd said she didn't belong. She'd proven she belonged in ways he couldn't comprehend. He'd challenged her to prove herself. She'd already proven herself in a jungle in Honduras, surrounded by the bodies of her team, alone, broken, refusing to die. Tyler, Jessica grabbed his arm. People are watching. Let them watch. He deserved to kneel. He deserved worse. That night, Tyler found Elena outside the barracks. She sat alone on a bench, staring at nothing. He approached slowly, like approaching a wounded predator. Carter. She didn't turn. Staff Sergeant Carter. Now she turned, eyes flat, empty. Recruit. I need to say something. You don't need to say anything. Yes, I do. His voice cracked. I do. He dropped to his knees again, eye level with her. I am so sorry. I didn't know. You thought what you saw was what I am. Elena's voice carried no anger, just exhaustion. You saw scars and assumed weakness. I was wrong. Yes. I was cruel. Yes. I don't know how to make it right. Elena studied him, this golden boy, this general's son, on his knees in the dirt for the second time today. You want to make it right? Anything. Then learn. Learn that what you see is never the whole story, that the person you mock might be carrying weight you can't imagine. That strength doesn't look like what you think it does. Tyler swallowed hard. I can do that. Can you buy? I'll spend the rest of training as proving it. Elena stood, looked down at him. Don't prove it to me. Prove it to the next person who walks in looking different. Prove it when no one's watching. She walked away. Tyler remained on his knees. Something had broken inside him today. Something that needed to break. And something new was starting to grow in its place. Tober, 1800 hours. General Stone's office. Elena stood at attention. At ease. She shifted. Barely. Stone leaned back in his chair. I read your file. The classified parts. The parts that don't exist on paper. Elena said nothing. 16 operators went into Honduras. Best of the best. You were the youngest, 24. Still nothing. Cartel ambush. Someone leaked your position. Your team was slaughtered in the first 90 seconds. You were captured, tortured for 72 hours. They wanted the identity of the informant. Elena's jaw tightened, only sign of reaction. You gave them nothing. Then you escaped. Killed 4 guards with your hands. Walked 40 miles with burns covering 60% of your body and a compound fracture in your left leg. He leaned forward. Why are you here, Staff Sergeant? Why basic training? With your record, you could be anywhere. Teaching, consulting. Hell, you could be running your own unit. Elena met his eyes. I needed to remember why I joined, sir. Needed to see if I could still be a soldier without being a ghost. And the jury's still out. Stone nodded slowly. I'm making you an unofficial instructor. Your skills are too valuable to waste on basic drills. You'll train with your unit during the day. After hours, you teach what you know to anyone who wants to learn. Sir, I'm not sure. That wasn't a request. Lena's jaw set. Yes, sir. One more thing. Stone's voice softened. The 16 who died, Martinez, Webb, Reyes, all of them. Their sacrifice meant something, and what you carried out of that jungle prevented attacks that would have killed hundreds. Their families know. They know their sons and daughters died heroes. Elena's control cracked, just for a second. Moisture in her eyes, gone before it could fall. That's all, Staff Sergeant. Dismissed. Elena saluted, turned, walked out. Stone watched her go. Then he picked up his phone. Get me the file on Operation Blackfire, everything, including who leaked the team's position. Pause. Because I just met the only survivor, and she deserves to know who killed her team. The barracks that night were quiet. No whispers about Scarface. No jokes about scars. Just silence. Heavy with the weight of what everyone now knew. Elena lay on her bunk, staring at the ceiling. Sarah Mitchell's whisper came through the darkness. Hey, you okay? Pause. No. Sarah moved, sat on the edge of Elena's bunk, didn't touch her, just present. You don't have to be okay. I know. You don't have to pretend with me. Elena turned her head, looked at Sarah. Why are you being kind to me? Because someone should be. I don't need kindness. Everyone needs kindness, especially people who've forgotten what it feels like. Elena's eyes glistened. I watched them die, all 16. I heard them on the radio, one by one, going silent. Sarah said nothing, just listened. Martinez was first. He was the youngest after me, 23. He made terrible coffee and laughed at his own jokes. He screamed for 2 minutes before the line went dead. Tears now, rolling down the scars. Webb was next, then Reyes, then Kim. I heard all of them die while I hid in a hole waiting for them to find me. You survived. I shouldn't have, but you did, and you walked out with intelligence that saved 400 people. It doesn't feel like enough. It never will. That's not how survivor's guilt works, but you're here. You're still fighting. That has to mean something. Elena's hand found Sarah's, gripped it hard. I don't know how to be normal anymore. Then don't be normal. Be Elena Carter. Whoever that is now, figure it out one day at a time. They sat in silence. 2 women in the darkness. One who'd walked through hell, one willing to sit with her anyway. Morning came. Elena walked into the mess hall. 200 heads turned, but not with mockery this time. Tyler stood from his table, crossed the room, stopped in front of her. The mess hall went silent. Staff Sergeant Carter, his voice carried. Permission to speak. Elena studied him. Granted. Yesterday I was an ass. I judged you on appearance. I was cruel for no reason except to make myself feel superior. He swallowed. I was wrong, I'm sorry. Not because of what I learned about you, but because I never should have treated any human being that way. He extended his hand. I'd like the chance to learn from you, if you'll let me. Lena looked at his hand, then at his face, then at the mess hall full of recruits watching. She took his hand. Learning happens at 0500. Before PT, don't be late. She walked past him, got her food, sat at a table. Not in the corner this time, middle of the room. Tyler watched her go, then turned to his crew. Tomorrow, 0500. We're all going. Jessica blinked. We don't even know what she's teaching. Doesn't matter. We're going. Derek started to protest. Tyler cut him off. We spent 2 weeks being wrong about her. Now we spend the rest of training getting it right. He sat down, started eating. Something had shifted. In him, in the mess hall, in everything. Sarah Mitchell found Elena after breakfast. That was graceful, what you did with Tyler. Elena shrugged. He apologized. Seemed genuine. Most people would have told him to go to hell. Most people haven't learned what I learned. What's that? Elena stopped walking, met Sarah's eyes. That holding on to anger is like carrying a rock through the jungle. Eventually you have to drop it or it kills you. I dropped a lot of rocks in Honduras. Had to. The weight would have stopped me. And now I'm learning to walk without the rocks, lighter, faster. She started walking again, but I haven't forgotten where I dropped them. And someday I'll go back for the ones that matter. Sarah watched her go, something in Elena's voice on that last sentence. Cold, determined, like a blade waiting to be drawn. That night, Elena sat alone in her quarters, a single photo on her desk, 17 people in combat gear, smiling at the camera, taken 3 days before Operation Blackfire, 3 days before 16 of them died. She touched each face. Martinez, you made terrible coffee. I'm still alive for you. Webb, you wanted to teach high school. I'll do something good with this life for you. Reyes, Kim, Thompson, Brooks. She named all 16. Then she looked at her own face in the photo. 24 years old, smiling. No scars, no idea what was coming. I'm going to find out who betrayed us. Her voice came out quiet, steel wrapped in ice. Whoever leaked our position, whoever sold us to the cartel. I'm going to find them. She touched the coordinates tattooed on her shoulder. And I'm going to make them pay for every single one of you. The photo sat silent, 16 ghosts watching, waiting. Her phone buzzed, unknown number. She stared at it, then answered. Carter, digitally masked voice. Shadow 9, secure line. Her grip tightened. I'm out, medical discharge. We know, but something's happened. I don't care. The informant from Blackfire, codenamed Spectre. He's alive. Elena stopped breathing. He's talking. Claims he has evidence of who leaked your team's position. Who sold you out. Why 16 soldiers died. Her knuckles went white. We need Shadow Unit expertise to verify his claims. Extract him safely. You're the only one left who knows the protocols. The only one he'll trust. Silence. When and where, details incoming. This is voluntary. I'll be there. For what it's worth, Carter, we're sorry. You deserve better. They all deserve better. Line went dead. Elena set the phone down, looked at the photo. 16 faces, 16 ghosts. Someone had betrayed them. Someone walking free while her team rotted in unmarked graves. She walked to her closet, pulled out gear she hadn't touched in 18 months. Combat boots, tactical jacket with the wolf skull patch, the knife she'd used to escape. She looked at her reflection in the window. Behind her in the play of light and shadow, and she could almost see them. Her team, watching, waiting. Some missions never end, she whispered to the ghosts. Some soldiers never quit, and some debts can only be paid in blood. She started packing. Operation Blackfire had one loose end, and Elena Carter intended to tie it off, permanently. Elena packed in silence. Combat boots, tactical jacket, the knife she'd used to kill 4 men 18 months ago. Her hands moved automatically. Muscle memory from 100 deployments. Fold, roll, secure, every item in its place. The photo of Shadow 9 watched from the desk. 17 faces, 16 ghosts. I'm coming back for answers, she whispered to them. All of you deserve that much. A knock at the door. Elena froze, hand moving to the knife before conscious thought caught up. Carter, you in there? Sarah's voice. Elena exhaled, slid the knife under her pillow, opened the door. Sarah stood in the hallway, eyes scanning Elena's face, then the partially packed bag visible behind her. Going somewhere, just organizing. At 2300 hours with your combat gear. Elena said nothing. Sarah stepped inside without asking, closed the door behind her. I was an EMT for 6 years. I know when someone's running. I'm not running. Then what are you doing? Elena's jaw tightened. Something I should have done 18 months ago. Sarah sat on the edge of the bed, crossed her arms, the posture of someone who wasn't leaving until she got answers. The phone call, I saw your face when you came back to the barracks. Something changed. You're observant. It's kept people alive. Talk to me. Elena studied her. This woman who'd shown kindness when everyone else showed cruelty. Who'd sat without her in the darkness without asking for anything. The informant we were sent to extract in Honduras. He's alive. Sarah's eyebrows rose. I thought everyone died. Everyone on my team died. The informant disappeared. We assumed the cartel got him. But they didn't. No, he's been hiding. And now he's talking. Says he has evidence of who leaked our position, who got my team killed. Sarah absorbed this. And you're going after him. I'm going to find out the truth. Alone. That's how I work best. Sarah shook her head slowly. That's how you almost died. You told me yourself. 40 miles through jungle. Burns, broken leg, alone. I made it. Barely, and that was running away from danger. This is running toward it. Elena's eyes hardened. 16 people died because someone betrayed us. Someone in our own government. They've been walking free for 18 months while my team rotted in unmarked graves. I'm not letting that continue. So what's the plan? Find this informant. Get his evidence, then what? Elena didn't answer. Sarah's face changed, an understanding dawning. Elena, you can't what? Kill whoever did this. Watch me. The words came out cold, flat. The voice of someone who'd already made peace with what they were about to do. Sarah stood, grabbed Elena's shoulders, forced eye contact. Listen to me, and I've seen what revenge does to people. I scraped them off highways, pulled them out of crashed cars, watched them die in ambulances with nothing in their eyes but regret. You go down this road, you don't come back. Maybe I don't want to come back. Bullshit. If you wanted to die, you would have stayed in that jungle. You walked 40 miles because something in you wanted to live. Don't throw that away now. Elena's control cracked. Just a fraction. You don't understand. I hear them every night. Martinez screaming. Webb begging for backup that never came. Kim going silent mid-sentence saying, I hear all of them, every single night. Tears now, rolling down the scars. The only way I stop hearing them is if I finish this. Find who killed them. Make it right. Sarah's grip softened. And if making it right means becoming something you're not, something they wouldn't recognize. Elena pulled away, turned to the window. They're dead because of me. I was team leader. I made the call to proceed with the mission when something felt wrong. I ignored my instincts because command said go, and 16 people paid for my obedience. That's not your fault. Tell that to their families. Silence stretched between them. Sarah moved to stand beside her, both women looking out at the dark base. What if I came with you? Elena turned sharply. What? You heard me. What if I came? You're a recruit. You have training to finish. Training can wait. This is more important. Why would you do that? Sarah met her eyes. Because I've spent 6 years watching people die when they didn't have to. Watching good people get destroyed because they were alone when they shouldn't have been. I'm not watching it happen again. You don't even know me. I know enough. I know you're brave. I know you're broken. I know you need someone watching your back, whether you admit it or not. Elena studied her, looking for the angle, the hidden motive, found nothing but sincerity. If you come with me, your military career is over. AWOL, dishonorable discharge, everything you worked for gone. Then it's gone. You'd throw away everything for a stranger. Sarah smiled slightly. You're not a stranger anymore. You're the woman who survived hell and came back to train others how to survive it too. That means something. Elena's walls wavered. The isolation she'd wrapped around herself like armor suddenly felt less necessary. I work alone. You did. Past tense. Things change. I might get you killed. I might save your life. Fair trade. Elena looked at her for a long moment. Then she walked to her closet, pulled out a second set of gear, threw it on the bed. We leave at 0400 before morning formation. Once we're gone, there's no coming back. Sarah picked up the gear. I wasn't planning on coming back anyway. Well, 500 came and went. Tyler stood outside the barracks with Jessica, Kevin, and Derek. They'd arrived at IL 445, eager to prove themselves changed. Elena never showed. Maybe she overslept, Kevin offered. She doesn't oversleep. Tyler checked his watch again. Something's wrong. He walked toward the female barracks, found Sergeant Vance already there, face tight with controlled anger. Sir, is something? Carter's gone. Vance cut him off. Her and Mitchell. Beds made, gear missing. No note. Tyler's stomach dropped. Gone where? If I knew that, I wouldn't be standing here. She pushed past him, headed toward command. Tyler looked at his crew. She wouldn't just leave, not after everything. Jessica frowned. Unless something happened, something more important than training. Kevin pulled out his phone, started searching. Shadow Unit 9, Operation Blackfire, Honduras. Let me see what I can find. Derek shifted uncomfortably. Should we tell someone what we know? We don't know anything, Tyler said. We just know she's a survivor. We don't know what she's surviving from. Kevin's face changed. Tyler, look at this. He held up his phone, a news article, 18 months old. American Special Operations Team lost in Honduras. All 16 confirmed dead. No survivors. Tyler read it twice. It says no survivors. Official story, but we know there was one, her. So the government covered it up. Looks like it, and look at this. Kevin scrolled down. There's speculation about a leak. Someone inside the operation feeding information to the cartel. Never confirmed. Investigation ongoing. Tyler's blood went cold. Someone got her team killed, and now she's going after them. Without backup, Jessica's voice was tight. Without support, against people who've already killed 16 trained operators. They stood in silence. Tyler made a decision. We need to tell General Stone. Derek grabbed his arm. Are you crazy? We'll get in trouble for knowing about classified operations. I don't care. She saved us. Showed us who we could be. We're not letting her die alone. He pulled free, walked toward command headquarters. His crew exchanged looks, then followed. General Stone's office. Photo 5:30 hours. Tyler stood at attention. Vance and Captain Reynolds flanked him. You're telling me you have information about Staff Sergeant Carter's disappearance? Yes, sir. She received a phone call last night. Unknown number. After that call, her entire demeanor changed. How do you know about this call? Tyler hesitated. I was watching her, sir. After what happened at the obstacle course, I wanted to apologize properly. I saw her take the call, saw her face afterward. Stone leaned forward. What did her face tell you? That she'd just learned something that changed everything, something about her team, about Honduras. Stone's expression went carefully blank. What do you know about Honduras? Only what we found online, 16 dead. Official story says no survivors. But Carter survived, and someone leaked their position to the cartel. That information is classified. With respect, sir, she's out there alone, going after whoever killed her team. If she dies because we didn't say anything, enough. Stone's voice cut like a blade. Silence. The general stood, walked to his window. What I'm about to tell you doesn't leave this room. Understood? Yes, sir. Operation Blackfire was a joint task force. CIA, Army, Special Operations, DEA, Intelligence. 16 operators sent to extract a high-value informant from a cartel territory. He turned back. Someone leaked their position. The team was ambushed, massacred. Carter was captured, tortured for 3 days, escaped, and walked 40 miles through hostile territory with injuries that should have killed her. Who leaked the information, sir? That's what we've been trying to find out for 18 months. The investigation went cold. Too many dead ends. Too many people with motive and opportunity. But now the informant is alive. Stone's eyes sharpened. How do you know that? Tyler realized he'd said too much. I don't know it, sir. I'm guessing, based on her behavior. Stone studied him, long, hard. You're smarter than you look, recruit. Sir, we need to help her. Help her how? We don't know where she went. We don't know who she's meeting. We don't even know if the informant's information is legitimate or a trap. Then find out. You have resources. Use them. Watch your tone. Tyler didn't back down. 16 people died because someone betrayed them. Carter survived because she's stronger than anyone I have ever met. but she's walking into something bigger than her. If we can help, we should help. Stone's jaw tightened. Then he picked up his phone. Get me the CIA liaison. Priority 1. He covered the receiver. You 3, stay available. Don't breathe a word of this. If I find out you've compromised this operation, we won't, sir. Stone pointed to the door. They left. Elena and Sarah moved through pre-dawn darkness toward the airfield. The helicopter sat on the tarmac. Rotors still. Waiting. A figure stood beside it. Male, tall, face hidden in shadow. Elena approached, hand near her knife. Carter, who's asking? The figure stepped into the light. Hispanic male, mid-40s, weathered face, eyes that had seen too much. I'm your transport. Call me Cruz. I wasn't told there would be a pilot. You weren't told us a lot of whoop bites to think. That's how this works. His eyes moved to Sarah. Who's she? Backup. Backup wasn't part of the plan. Plans change. Cruz studied them both, then shrugged. Your funeral. Get in. They climbed aboard. Cruz ran through pre-flight checks. Destination is a safe house in El Paso. 3 hours flight time. The informant Spectre will meet you there. Why El Paso, Gwe? Close to the border. Easy extraction if things go wrong. Easy burial if things go worse. Elena didn't smile. What's his real name? You'll find out when you meet him, assuming he shows. What do you mean, assuming? Cruz started the engine. Rotors beginning to turn. Spectre's been hiding for 18 months, jumping at shadows, trusting no one. He agreed to meet you because you're the only survivor, because you might be the only person he can trust. But that doesn't mean he'll show up. He'll show. How do you know? Elena's voice hardened. Because he owes me 16 lives and I'm coming to collect. The helicopter lifted off. Fort Benning falling away beneath them. Sarah watched through the window. No going back now. There was never going to be. 3 hours later, El Paso. The safe house was a rundown building in an industrial district. Rusted fences, empty lots. The kind of place people disappeared without anyone noticing. Cruz landed in a vacant lot 2 blocks away. I wait here. You've got 2 hours. After that, I'm gone, with or without you. Elena nodded, climbed out. Sarah followed. This feels wrong. Wrong how? I don't know, just wrong, like we're being watched. Elena scanned the surrounding buildings. Empty windows, silent streets. We probably are. Stay alert. They moved toward the safe house. Elena taking point. Sarah covering rear. At the door, Elena paused, listened. Voices inside. 2, male. She looked at Sarah, held up 2 fingers, then pointed to the back of the building. Sarah nodded, moved around the corner. Elena counted to 10, then kicked the door open. Inside, 2 men scrambled, one reaching for a weapon. Elena was faster. She crossed the room in 3 steps. Disarmed him with a strike to the wrist, followed with an elbow to the jaw. He dropped. The second man raised his hands. Wait, I'm Spectre. Elena stopped, breathing hard. The man standing before her was thin, 50s, scared eyes. The look of someone who'd spent 18 months waiting to die. Prove it. You're Carter, Elena Carter, Shadow 9 team leader. You have a tattoo on your right shoulder. Wolf skull with crossed daggers, coordinates of the ambush arch underneath. Anyone could know that. Your team called you Ghost Mom because you always made sure everyone got home. Elena's throat tightened, except the last time. Spectre's face crumbled. I know, God, I know, I'm so sorry. Sorry doesn't bring back 16 people. No, but maybe this does. He reached slowly into his jacket, pulled out a flash drive. Everything. Names, dates, money transfers, communication logs, everything that proves who leaked your team's position. Elena took the drive. Who's someone high up, someone you'd never suspect. Who can? Spectre's eyes darted to the windows, the doors. We need to move. They know I'm talking. They've been hunting me for 18 months. If we stay here... Glass shattered. Something flew through the window. Elena grabbed Spectre, threw them both to the floor. The flashbang exploded. Light, sound, disorientation. Elena fought through it, training taking over. She pulled Spectre up, pushed him toward the back door. Move now. Sarah appeared from the rear, eyes wide. There's 6 of them, full tactical gear, coming from all sides. Elena made a decision in half a second. Sarah, take him. Get to the helicopter. Don't stop for anything. What about you? I'll hold them off. You can't fight 6 armed men alone. I've done worse. She pushed Spectre towards Sarah. Go now. Cruise leaves in 40 minutes. Don't miss it. Sarah hesitated. Elena. That's an order. Sarah grabbed Spectre's arm. They ran. Elena turned to face the front door. 6 men. Tactical gear. Military precision. These weren't cartel soldiers. These were professionals. American professionals. The door exploded inward. Elena moved. First man through the door caught her knife in his throat. She was past him before he fell. Second man raised his weapon. She ducked under, came up inside his guard, broke his arm at the elbow, took his gun, shot the third man center mass. 4, 5, coming through the windows. She shot 4 in the leg. He went down screaming. 5 tackled her. They rolled, struggling for the weapon. He was bigger, stronger. She was faster. Her thumb found his eye socket. Pressed, he screamed, released her. She drove her palm into his nose, felt it shatter. 6 came through the back door. Too late. Elena was already up, already aiming. Don't move. He froze, dropped the weapon. He hesitated. Elena shot him in the shoulder. He dropped the weapon. She moved to him, knelt on his chest, pressed the gun to his forehead. Who sent you? Go to hell. Already been there, didn't like it. Who sent you? You don't understand what you're dealing with. Explain it to me. They'll kill you, just like they killed your team. Who? The man laughed, blood on his teeth. You really don't know. After 18 months, you don't know. Tell me. It was one of yours, one of Shadow 9, someone who survived. Elena's blood froze. Everyone died. I was the only survivor. That's what they wanted you to think. You're lying. Why do you think they let you escape? Why do you think you made it 40 miles through jungle when you should have died in the first hour? Lena's hands started shaking. They let you live because you were the cover story, the sole survivor who walked out a hero. Nobody would suspect you, and nobody would look for anyone else. Who else survived? The man's eyes glazed, blood loss taking him. Who? He smiled, last breath rattling. Ask yourself, who knew the route? Who had access? Who wasn't where they were supposed to be? His eyes went empty. Elena knelt in the blood of 6 men. Mind racing. Someone from her team was alive. Someone had betrayed them. Someone had used her survival as cover for their own escape. She thought about that day, the ambush, the cam. Martinez, first to die, Webb, second, then Reyes, Kim, Thompson, one by one. Radio going silent. She'd been separated, cut off, captured. But someone else might have slipped away in the confusion. Someone who knew exactly where to run because they'd planned it. Her hands stopped shaking. They went still, steady, cold. Whoever it was, she would find them. And God helped them when she did. Sarah and Spectre reached the helicopter. Cruz already had the rotor spinning. Where's Carter? Fighting, she said to go. I'm not leaving without her. She ordered us to leave. Cruz grabbed Spectre, threw him into the helicopter. She bought you time, don't waste it. Sarah hesitated, looking back toward the safe house. Gunfire, screams, then silence. We have to wait, just a few more minutes. We wait, we all die. Cruz pulled her toward the helicopter. She knew the risks, she accepted them. Honor her choice, Kika. Sarah's eyes filled with tears, but she climbed in. The helicopter lifted off. Below the safe house grew small. A figure emerged from the building, running toward them. Elena. She's alive. Go down, Cruz cursed. Dropped altitude. Elena sprinted across the vacant lot, arms pumping. Behind her, more vehicles arriving, more armed men pouring out. Cruz brought the helicopter low. 10 feet. 5. Sarah reached out. Elena jumped. Their hands connected. Sarah pulled with everything she had. Elena tumbled into the helicopter. Go, go, go. Cruz climbed, fast. bullets pinging off the hull. They rose, higher, the gunmen shrinking to dots. Elena lay on the floor, breathing hard, covered in blood. You okay? I'll live. Frau grabbed her hand. Don't ever do that again. Elena almost smiled. Almost. Oh, wow. Crews flew them to a secondary location, a motel outside Las Cruces, off-grid, cash only. He dropped them on the roof and left without a word. Inside, Elena cleaned the blood from her hands, her face, her arms. The knife went back in its sheath, the gun under her pillow. Some habits never died. Spectre sat in the corner, shaking. They found me. After 18 months, they found me. They found the safe house, probably had it under surveillance, which means they knew I was going to talk, which means someone inside tipped them off. Spectre's eyes widened. You think there's a mole? I think my entire team was killed because of a mole, and I think that mole is still operating. She sat across from him. The flash drive. Tell me everything on it. Spectre swallowed. Money transfers. $2 million moved from a Swiss account to a cartel-controlled bank 3 days before your mission. Origin of the funds. Traced back to a shell company. That shell company is owned by another shell company. That one is owned by a defense contractor with ties to CIA black operations. Names. One name, the account that authorized the transfer. Spectre's voice dropped. Colonel Richard Hayes. Elena stopped breathing. Hayes. She knew that name. He'd been their mission commander, the voice on the other end of the radio, the one who'd given the order to proceed when everything felt wrong. Hayes authorized the money transfer 3 days before your team walked into an ambush he'd helped plan. He was our commander. Exactly. Who better to set up a team than the person controlling their every move? Elena's hands curled into fists. He's still active, still in command. I checked before I reached out. He's running operations out of Fort Bragg. Fort Bragg, where she'd just spent 2 weeks. He'd been there the whole time. There's more. Spectre's voice went quiet. The transfer wasn't just for information. It was for a specific outcome. What outcome? Complete elimination. Everyone had to die. The cartel was paid to make sure no one survived. But I survived. Yes, and that created a problem. Until they realized they could use you. Use me how? You became the story, the hero who walked out of hell, the sole survivor. Your very existence proved that the mission failed because of cartel superiority, not internal betrayal. You were evidence that supported their lie. Elena felt sick. Her survival, her escape, her 40 miles through jungle, all of it part of their plan. Why are you telling me this now? After 18 months, Spectre looked away. Because I'm dying, cancer, 6 months, maybe less. I've been hiding, running, waiting for them to find me. But I can't run anymore, and I can't die knowing the truth died with me. So you reached out to the one person who deserves to know, the one person who might actually do something about it. Elena stood, walked to the window, looked out at the desert darkness. Hayes is untouchable, protected, connected. If I go after him directly, I'll be dead before I get within a mile. Probably. But if I can prove what he did, get the evidence to the right people, then he goes down, and your team gets justice. Elena turned back. The flash drive. Is it enough? It's enough to start an investigation, but you'll need more. Hayes is careful. He'll have covered his tracks, destroyed evidence, created alibis. Then I'll find what he missed. How? Elena's eyes went cold. I'll ask him myself. Sarah had been listening from the doorway. You can't be serious. I'm always serious. He'll kill you the moment you show your face. He'll try. Elena, this isn't Honduras. You can't just fight your way through this. Watch me. Sarah crossed the room, stood in front of her. I came with you because I believed in what you were doing, finding the truth, getting justice. But this isn't justice. This is suicide. Maybe they're the same thing. No, they're not. Sarah grabbed her shoulders. Justice is Hayes in handcuffs. Justice is a trial. Justice is him watching his life crumble while your team's families finally get closure. Suicide is you dying in a failed assassination attempt while he walks free. Elena said nothing. I know you're angry. I know you're hurting, but you've survived too much to throw it away now. Think, plan, be the leader your team believed in. The words hit something deep. Ghost mom. That's what they'd called her, because she always made sure everyone got home. Except the last time. Elena's walls cracked. I don't know how to do this any other way. Fighting is all I have left. Then let me help you find another way. Why do you care so much? Sarah's eyes softened. Because I see who you really are. Underneath the scars. Underneath the training. I see someone who's been alone too long. Someone who's forgotten that asking for help isn't weakness. In my world, asking for help gets people killed. Then change your world. Silence. Lena looked at the flash drive in her hand. Evidence, proof, ammunition. Not the kind she was used to, but maybe more powerful. There might be another way. Tell me. General Stone at Fort Bragg. He's been investigating Blackfire for 18 months. If I can get this evidence to him, he might be compromised. Or he might be the one person who can bring Hayes down legally. Sarah considered. How do we know we can trust him? We don't, but he saluted me in front of 200 people. If he was working with Hayes, he would have had me killed quietly. Instead, he honored me. Risky. Everything is risky, but this gives us a chance without me dying. Sarah nodded slowly. Okay, how do we get the evidence to him without Hayes finding out? Elena thought. Tyler, the recruit, the one who harassed you. He's different now, and he's still at Fort Bragg. If I can contact him, get him to deliver the drive directly to Stone, that's a lot of trust to put in someone who called you Scarface. People change. I've seen it happen. Elena pulled out her phone, dialed a number she'd memorized. It rang twice. Hello? Tyler, it's Carter. Silence on the line. Then Carter. Where the hell are you? Everyone's looking for you. Stone's got the whole base on alert. I need you to listen carefully. I don't have much time. Are you okay? I'm alive. That's enough. I need you to do something for me. Anything. Tomorrow a package will arrive at the base post office, addressed to you. Inside is a flash drive. Don't look at it. Don't plug it into any computer. Take it directly to General Stone. Hand it to him personally. Tell him it's from Ghost 9. He'll know what it means. Carter, what's going on? The person who killed my team is at Fort Bragg, in command. I have proof. That drive is everything. Tyler's breath caught. Who is it? You'll find out. Just get the drive to Stone. Promise me. I promise, but Carter, thank you for everything. Wait, are you coming back? Elena looked at Sarah, at Spectre, at the desert darkness outside. I don't know, but if I don't make sure the truth comes out, for Martinez, Webb, Reyes, all of them. Carter. Goodbye, Tyler. She hung up. Sarah watched her. What now? Elena tucked the phone away. Now we make copies of the evidence. Send it to everyone who matters. Journalists, investigators, congressional oversight. If we can't bring Hayes down through Stone, we burn him in the press. And if he comes after us, before that happens, Elena picked up her knife. Then I do what I do best. 300 miles away, Colonel Richard Hayes sat in his office at Fort Bragg. His phone rang. Report? Sir, the safe house was compromised. 6 men down. The informant escaped with Carter. Hayes's jaw tightened. Carter, she's supposed to be in basic training. She went AWOL, took another recruit with her. And the informant? Gone. We lost them. Hayes stood, walked to his window. Fort Bragg spread out beneath him. Thousands of soldiers, none of them knowing the truth. Carter has Spectre, which means she has the evidence. We can intercept. She's not stupid. She'll have copies, contingencies. We move on her, now we risk exposure. Then what do? Hayes thought. We discredit her. A traumatized soldier with PTSD, went AWOL, making wild accusations to cope with survivor's guilt. By the time she surfaces, no one will believe anything she says. And if that doesn't work, Hayes's voice went cold, then we do what we should have done in Honduras. We make sure there are no survivors. He hung up, looked at the photo on his desk. Shadow Unit 9, 17 faces, taken 3 days before the mission. He'd smiled for that photo, knowing what was coming, knowing they were all going to die. Elena Carter had ruined everything by surviving. Now it was time to correct that mistake, permanently. The package arrived at Fort Bragg at 0800 hours. Tyler stood at the post office window, heart pounding, palms sweating. The clerk handed him a small, padded envelope, no return address, his name and handwriting he didn't recognize. Thanks. He walked out, didn't open it, didn't look inside, just walked. Jessica caught up to him outside. Is that it? Yeah. What's on it? I don't know. She said not to look. And you're just going to hand it over without knowing what's on it. Tyler stopped, turned to her. She trusted me. After everything I did to her, she trusted me with this. I'm not going to betray that. Jessica fell silent. They walked toward command headquarters. Kevin and Derek waited near the entrance. Stone's in his office. Kevin's voice was low. But there's a problem. What problem? Colonel Hayes is with him. Tyler's blood went cold. Hayes. Carter had said the person who killed her team was at Fort Bragg. In command. Hayes was in command. We can't go in there, but we have to. Tyler gripped the envelope tighter. She said hand it to Stone personally. Not Hayes, Stone. How do we get Stone alone? Derek shifted nervously. We could wait. Hayes has to leave eventually. We don't have time to wait. If Carter's right, Hayes already knows she has evidence. He'll be covering his tracks. Jessica stepped forward. I have an idea. What? Create a distraction. Get Hayes out of the office. You go in while he's gone. What kind of distraction? Jessica smiled. Leave that to me. She walked toward the building, confident, purposeful. Tyler watched her go. What's she doing? Kevin shook his head. No idea, but we better be ready. 2 minutes later, an alarm blared. Fire alarm. The building emptied. Soldiers and officers pouring out following protocol. Hayes emerged with Stone, both men looking annoyed. Jessica appeared beside Tyler. Go, now, before they realize it's false. Tyler ran, through the crowd, through the doors, up the stairs. Stone's office was empty. He placed the envelope on the desk, pulled out a pen, wrote quickly on a sticky note. From Ghost 9 for your eyes only. The truth about Blackfire. He stuck it to the envelope, then ran. Made it outside just as the all clear sounded. Hayes was already walking back in, Stone behind him. Tyler melted into the crowd of recruits. Jessica found him. Done. Now what? Now we wait. General Stone returned to his office, saw the envelope on his desk, read the note. His hand trembled as he picked it up. Ghost 9, Carter. He closed his door, locked it, inserted the flash drive into his secure terminal. Files loaded, bank transfers, communication logs, mission reports, and one name that appeared over and over, Colonel Richard Hayes. Stone's jaw tightened. Hayes, his colleague, his friend, the man he'd trusted with countless operations. A traitor, a murderer. Stone picked up his phone, dialed a number. This is General Stone. I need an immediate secure line to the Inspector General's office. Pause. Yes, I'll hold. He looked at the files on his screen. 16 dead soldiers, 1 survivor, and now finally proof of who was responsible. Inspector General's office. How can I help you, General? I have evidence of treason within Special Operations Command, high level, classified. I need an investigation team here within 24 hours. Sir, that's an extraordinary request. An extraordinary crime demands extraordinary response. 16 American soldiers were killed because of a leak. I have proof of who leaked them. Get me that team. Yes, sir, 24 hours. Stone hung up. Then he made another call. Security office, I need Colonel Hayes brought to my office, quietly, no explanation given. Yes, sir. He sat back, waited. The next 24 hours would determine everything. 600 miles away, Elena woke to the sound of breaking glass. She rolled off the bed. Knife in hand, Sarah was already up, gun aimed at the door. Spectre cowered in the corner. How many? Elena's voice was barely a whisper. I counted 3, maybe more. They'd been found. Again. Elena moved to the window, peered through the curtain. Two SUVs, black, government plates, not cartel, military. Back door. They move fast, silent, years of training taking over. Elena went first. Checked the hallway. Clear. Sarah followed with Spectre. They reached the back exit. Elena pushed it open. A man stood there, weapon raised. Elena reacted before he could fire. She drove her knife into his arm. He dropped the gun. She spun him, used him as a shield. Move. They ran across the parking lot toward a pickup truck, keys still in the ignition. Elena shoved Spectre inside. Sarah took the wheel. Go. Go, Sarah gunning the engine. The truck lurched forward. Gunfire erupted behind them. Bullets pinged off metal. Elena returned fire through the back window. One man went down. Two kept coming. Faster, Sarah floored it. They hit the main road, tires screaming. The SUVs followed. Elena counted. 2 vehicles, 4 men in each, 8 total, against 3 civilians in a stolen truck. Bad odds. We can't outrun them. Then we outsmart them. Sarah yanked the wheel. Hard right, the truck careened onto a dirt road. Dust exploded behind them, covering their retreat, but the SUVs followed, getting closer. Elena made a decision. Keep driving. Don't stop for anything. What are you doing? Elena climbed into the truck bed. Ending this. She braced herself against the cab. Aimed. The lead SUV was 50 meters back. Closing fast, she fired. First shot took out the front tire. The SUV swerved, flipped. One down. Second SUV accelerated, trying to ram them. Elena waited. 30 meters. 20. 10. On. She fired into the windshield. The driver slumped. The SUV veered off the road, crashed into a ditch. 2 down. Elena lowered her weapon. Her hands were shaking, not from fear, from something darker. 18 months ago, she'd walked out of a jungle leaving bodies behind. Nothing had changed. They drove for 3 hours, found an abandoned gas station, pulled behind it. Sarah killed the engine. Silence. Spectre spoke first. They'll keep coming. Hayes has unlimited resources. We can't hide forever. We don't need forever. Elena's voice was flat. We need 24 hours, long enough for Stone to act on the evidence. How do you know he'll act? Because I know Stone. He's a soldier. When he sees what Hayes did, he'll want blood. Sarah turned to look at her. And if Hayes gets to him first, then we go to plan B. What's plan B? Elena met her eyes. I kill Hayes myself. Sarah shook her head. We talked about this. That's not justice. Sometimes justice isn't enough. Elena, he killed my team, 16 people who trusted him, who followed his orders, who died because he sold them for money. Elena's voice cracked. Webb had a baby girl, 3 months old, and she'll never know her father. Martinez was engaged. His fiancée still wears the ring. Kim wanted to teach high school. Thompson was 6 months from retirement. Tears now, rolling down the scars. They weren't just soldiers, they were people, with families, with futures. And Hayes took all of that away for $2 million. Sarah reached for her hand. I know it hurts, but becoming a murderer won't bring them back. No, but it will make sure he never does this again. Prison will do that too. Well, if men like Hayes don't go to prison, they get deals. They trade secrets for reduced sentences. They retire quietly and write memoirs they never actually pay. Elena pulled her hand away. Unless someone makes them pay. Spectre cleared his throat. There might be another way. Both women looked at him. I wasn't the only one who knew what Hayes was doing. There were others, higher up, people who approved the operation, who took their cut of the money. Names. I don't have proof, but I have suspicions. If we can get them to turn on each other, how? Hayes isn't stupid. He knows I talked to Carter. He knows the evidence is out there. Right now, he's probably trying to figure out how to contain the damage. So we make him panic, make him reach out to his contacts, force him into the open. Elena considered. How do we make him panic? Spectre smiled grimly. We let him think he's winning. Fort Bragg, 1400 hours. Colonel Hayes sat in the interview room, General Stone across from him. Richard, we need to talk. About what? About Operation Blackfire. Hayes's expression didn't change. Perfect composure. That was a tragedy. We lost 16 good soldiers. I think about it every day. Do you want to turn? Of course, they were under my command. Their deaths haunt me. Stone pushed a folder across the table. Then explain these. Hayes opened the folder. Bank statements, money transfers, $2 million, his accounts, his signature. For 1 second, one heartbeat, his mask slipped. Then it was back. Where did you get these? That's not important. What's important is what they show. These are fabricated. Someone's trying to frame me. Who, Samu? Carter. She's unstable. PTSD, survivor's guilt. She's been making wild accusations since she got back from Honduras. These documents are dated 3 days before the mission. Carter didn't have access to financial records. Then someone gave them to her, fed her lies. Stone leaned forward. Richard, I've known you for 20 years, fought beside you, trusted you with my life. So I'm going to give you one chance. One. Tell me the truth. Hayes met his eyes. I'm telling the truth. I had nothing to do with what happened in Honduras. Stone studied him, then stood. Very well, you're confined to quarters pending investigation. You'll surrender your weapon and credentials. William, this is absurd. Now, Colonel, Hayes stood slowly. You're making a mistake. Carter has manipulated you. When the investigation proves my innocence, if the investigation proves your innocence, I'll apologize personally. Until then, you're relieved of duty. 2 MPs appeared at the door. Hayes walked out with them. His face showed nothing, but his mind was racing. The evidence was real. Carter had gotten to Stone. He needed to move fast, very fast. Hayes made one phone call from his quarters. Secure line, encrypted. We have a problem. What kind of problem? Stone has the evidence. I'm under investigation. Silence on the line. Can you contain it? Not from here. I'm confined to quarters. Then we contain it from our end. How? Carter's still out there, so is Spectre. They're the only ones who can testify to the authenticity of the documents. Without them, it's just paper, easily discredited. Hayes understood. You're going to eliminate them. We're going to solve the problem. You sit tight, say nothing. By tomorrow, there won't be anyone left to contradict your story. The line went dead. Hayes stared at the phone. 16 soldiers hadn't been enough. Now more would die. All because Elena Carter refused to stay dead. Elena felt it before she heard it. A change in the air. She grabbed Sarah's arm. We need to move. Now. What is it? I don't know, but something's coming. They'd been at the gas station for 4 hours. Too long. Elena helped Spectre to his feet. Can you walk? I'll manage. They moved to the truck. Elena stopped. Listened. Helicopters. Distant, but approaching. How did they find us? Sarah checked her phone. No signal. I didn't make any calls. Spectre went pale. The cancer medication. It has a GPS chip for medical monitoring. Elena turned to him slowly. You have a tracking chip in your medication. I didn't think I needed the medication to survive. Where is it? Spectre pulled a pill bottle from his pocket. Elena grabbed it, threw it as far as she could. Too late. They already have our position. The helicopters were closer now. 2 of them. Military. We can't outrun helicopters. Sarah's voice was tight with fear. No, but we don't have to. Elena scanned the area. There, the drainage tunnel under the road. They can't follow us underground. They ran, crossed the road, found the tunnel entrance. Dark, narrow, smelling of rust and old water. Elena went first. Stay close, don't make a sound. They crawled into the darkness. Behind them, the helicopters landed. Voices shouting, boots on gravel. Spread out, they can't have gone far. Elena kept moving. The tunnel curved, branched. She chose left. Pure instinct. They crawled for what felt like hours. Finally, light ahead. They emerged on the other side of a hill. The helicopters were behind them now, searching the wrong area. Elena allowed herself one breath of relief. We need transportation. There's a town 2 miles east, Sarah pointed. I saw signs on the way in. Can Spectre make it? I'll make it. His voice was weak but determined. I've survived this long, not dying in a drainage tunnel. They walked, 2 miles through rough terrain. By the time they reached the town, Spectre was barely standing. Elena found a motel, paid cash, carried Spectre inside. He needs a doctor. A doctor means records. Records mean they find us. He'll die without help. Elena looked at Spectre, gray-faced, sweating, breathing shallow. The cancer was winning, and without his medication it would win faster. I'll find supplies. You stay with him. Elena, I'll be back. She left before Sarah could argue. The pharmacy was 3 blocks away. Elena moved through the town like a ghost, head down, avoiding cameras, staying in shadows. She found what she needed, paid cash, left quickly. On the way back, she saw the news. Television in a store window. Her face on the screen. AWOL soldier wanted for questioning and espionage investigation. Below it, another face. Sarah's. Accomplice identified. Elena's heart stopped. They'd been named. Publicly. Now everyone would be looking for them in. She ran back to the motel, burst through the door. We need to leave. Now. Sarah was standing by the window. I know. I saw. They're calling us spies. Traitors. Hayes's counterattack. Discredit us before we can discredit him. Elena threw the supplies on the bed. Give Spectre what he needs. We move in 10 minutes. Move where everyone's looking for us now. Elena thought. Fort Bragg was compromised. Stone might be compromised. They had no allies, no safe houses, no backup, except Tyler. Sarah looked at her. What about him? He delivered the evidence. He's the only one who knows what's really happening. You trust him. I trust that he wants to make things right. That has to be enough. Elena pulled out her phone, dialed. Tyler answered on the first ring. Carter, don't say my name. Are you alone? Yes, I saw the news. They're calling you a traitor. It's a lie. Hayes is behind it. I know. Stone arrested him this morning. Elena's heart jumped. He arrested Hayes. Confined to quarters, investigations started. But Hayes made calls. Now people are saying the evidence is fabricated. It's not. I believe you, but proving it. I have a witness, the informant. He can testify that the evidence is real. Where are you? Elena hesitated. I can't tell you that, but I need your help. Name it. Stone, I need to talk to him directly. Face to face. Can you make that happen? Silence on the line. That's dangerous. If Hayes has people watching Stone, I know the risks, but it's the only way to end this. Tyler exhaled. There's a classified briefing tomorrow. 0900, off-base location. Stone will be there with minimal security. Where I'll send coordinates, encrypted. Tyler, if this goes wrong, it won't. I owe you this. We all do. The line went dead. Elena lowered the phone. Sarah watched her. Well, tomorrow we meet Stone. We end this. Spectre coughed weakly from the bed. And if it's a trap, Elena picked up her knife, then God help whoever said it. That night, Elena sat alone in the darkness. Sarah slept. Spectre slept. She couldn't. The faces wouldn't let her. Martinez, Webb, Reyes, Kim, Thompson, Brooks, all 16 of them. Watching, waiting. I'm close, she whispered to the shadows. Tomorrow I'll have him. I'll make him pay for what he did to you. The shadows said nothing. They never did. But she felt them. Always there, always watching, reminding her why she was still fighting. Her phone buzzed. Message from Tyler. Coordinates. Time. Details. Tomorrow would decide everything. Either Hayes would fall or she would. Elena checked her weapon, sharpened her knife, prepared for war, because that's what this was now, war. And she intended to win. Across the country, Colonel Hayes sat in his quarters, confined, watched, but not powerless. His secure phone rang. Report. The targets are still mobile, but we have a lead. One of our people intercepted a communication. They're meeting Stone tomorrow. Off-base briefing. Hayes smiled. Perfect. What do you want us to do? Everyone in that meeting dies. Stone, Carter, the informant, everyone. That's extreme. Stone is a 2-star general. Stone has evidence that will destroy me. Carter has testimony that will destroy me. The informant has memories that will destroy me. They all die. And after we blame it on Carter, disturbed veteran, PTSD went on a rampage before killing herself. Tragic story. Headlines for a week. Then forgotten. Understood. It's done. Hayes hung up, looked at the wall. A photo of Shadow Unit 9. 17 faces. He'd killed 16 of them. Tomorrow he'd kill the 17th. And finally, Operation Blackfire would be truly buried. Elena watched the sun rise, red and gold bleeding across the horizon. She thought about her team. They'd watched sunrises like this, in deserts, in jungles, in mountains, always together, always watching each other's backs. Now she was the only one left. Sarah woke, found her by the window. You okay? No. Nervous? Terrified. Sarah moved to stand beside her. That's honest. I'm tired of lying to myself, to everyone. I've been pretending I'm fine for 18 months, that the nightmares don't destroy me, that hearing their voices doesn't make me want to scream, that I don't wake up every night reaching for teammates who aren't there. Tears rolled down her cheeks. I'm not fine, I'm broken, and I don't know if I'll ever be whole again. Sarah took her hand. You don't have to be whole. You just have to be here. One day at a time, one fight at a time. And if I die today, then you die fighting for the people you loved. That's not a bad death. Elena squeezed her hand. I don't want to die. I want to live. I want to see Hayes in handcuffs. I want to watch his face when he realizes he lost. I want to visit my team's graves and tell them it's over. Then survive. Whatever happens today, you survive. Elena nodded. Let's finish this. They woke Spectre, gathered their weapons, headed for the door. Whatever waited for them, they would face it together. In one way or another, the truth would come out. The drive took 3 hours. Elena kept her eyes on the road. Sarah drove. Spectre lay in the back seat, breathing shallow skin gray. He was running out of time. They all were. How much further? Sarah's voice cut through the silence. 20 minutes. And you're sure about this meeting Stone in the open? No, but it's the only play we have left. Sarah gripped the wheel tighter. If it's a trap, then we fight our way out, like always. Elena, we're not soldiers. I'm an EMT. Spectre can barely walk. If Hayes has men waiting, then I handle it. You can't handle everything alone. Elena turned to look at her. I've been handling everything alone for 18 months. It's what I do. That's not strength, that's stubbornness. Same thing. Sarah shook her head but said nothing more. The road curved through empty farmland. No other cars, no signs of life. Perfect place for an ambush. Elena's instincts screamed, "Stop the car." What? Stop, now! Sarah hit the brakes. The car skidded to a halt. Elena was out before it stopped moving. She scanned the tree line, the hills, the road ahead. Nothing visible, but something was wrong. She could feel it. What is it? Sarah called from the car. I don't know. Something's off. We're in the middle of nowhere. Of course it feels off. Elena's hand moved to her weapon. Stay in the car. Keep the engine running. She walked forward, slow, careful, eyes scanning. There. Tire tracks in the dirt. Fresh. Multiple vehicles. Someone had been here recently. Someone was probably still here. Elena dropped to one knee, studied the tracks. Military pattern tires. Heavy vehicles, at least 3. Her blood went cold. Sarah, get Spectre out of the car now. The explosion came before Sarah could respond. The car erupted in flames. Elena was thrown backward, hit the ground hard, ears ringing, vision blurred. She forced herself up. The car was a fireball. Sarah, Spectre. No, 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 no. She ran toward the flames. Sarah! A figure emerged from the smoke. Sarah, clothes singed, face blackened, but alive. She was dragging Spectre. Help me! Elena grabbed Spectre's other arm. They pulled him away from the burning wreckage, collapsed in the dirt 20 meters away. Are you hurt? Sarah coughed. I'll live. The door was open when it hit. We got thrown clear. Spectre, the old man groaned, conscious, barely. Still here, Unfortunately, gunfire erupted from the tree line. Elena shoved them both down. Stay low. She returned fire, blind, just trying to suppress. How many? Sarah shouted. I count 6 muzzle flashes, maybe more. We're pinned down. I know. More gunfire, dirt exploding around them. Elena's mind raced. 6 shooters, open ground, no cover, no backup. They were going to die here unless she changed the equation. Sarah, listen to me. What? When I move, you take Spectre and run east toward those rocks. Elena, don't argue, just do it. What are you going to do? Elena checked her weapon. Half a magazine left. Buy you time. That's suicide. Maybe, but you'll live. Sarah grabbed her arm, tears cutting through the soot on her face. Didn't come this far to watch you die. And I didn't survive Honduras to let more people die because of me. Go. Now. Elena stood, ran straight toward the gunfire. The shooters weren't expecting a charge. Elena moved fast, zigzagging, making herself a difficult target. Bullets whipped past her. One grazed her shoulder. She didn't stop. First shooter, behind a fallen tree. Elena dove, rolled, came up firing. 2 rounds, center mass. He went down. Second shooter, 10 meters right. She was already moving. Closed the distance before he could adjust. Her knife found his throat. Third shooter, turning toward her. Too slow. She grabbed his weapon, turned it on him, pulled the trigger. 3 down, 3 to go. Fourth shooter opened up from her left. Elena felt the impact before the pain. Her leg buckled, she went down, blood spreading across her thigh. The shooter advanced, confident now. Elena waited. 5 meters, 3, 1. She threw her knife. It buried itself in his chest. He dropped. 4 down. Elena tried to stand, couldn't. The leg wound was bad, arterial bleeding. She had minutes. Fifth shooter emerged from cover, walked toward her slowly. Gun raised. Staff Sergeant Carter, you've caused a lot of problems. Elena recognized the voice. Not a random soldier. Someone she knew. The man stepped into the light. Captain Reynolds, from Fort Benning. The man who'd noticed her tactical knowledge. The man who'd said she looked familiar. You. Elena's voice came out weak. You're with Hayes. Hayes is a means to an end, just like you were. What are you talking about? Reynolds smiled. You really don't know. After all this time, you still don't understand what happened in Honduras. I understand enough. Hayes leaked our position, got my team killed. Hayes was a tool, a greedy fool who sold information for money. He didn't plan Operation Blackfire. He just helped execute it. Elena's vision was blurring. Blood loss. But she needed to hear this. Then who? Reynolds crouched beside her. Me. The word hit like a bullet. You planned Blackfire. I designed it. Hayes handled the logistics. The cartel handled the execution. But the concept, the target selection, that was all me. Why would you kill 16 American soldiers? Reynolds tilted his head. Because they weren't supposed to be American soldiers. The original plan was different. But things changed. Adaptations were required. You're not making sense. The informant, Spectre, he wasn't just a DEA asset. He had information about certain operations, domestic operations, things that could embarrass very powerful people. What kind of operations? The kind that move money through channels that don't exist. The kind that fund activities that Congress never votes on. The kind that make certain people very rich while keeping America very safe. At least Elena understood. Black budget operations, off the books. Exactly. Spectre knew too much. He needed to disappear, but he was too valuable to simply kill. So we created a scenario, a rescue mission, staffed with expendable assets. My team. Your team, 16 soldiers who would walk into an ambush thinking they were heroes, who would die thinking they were serving their country, who would never know they were just cleaning up a mess. Elena's hands clenched. We weren't expendable. We were the best. Shadow Unit 9 was a convenient collection of soldiers with high skills and low connections. No political families, no powerful friends, No one who would ask too many questions when you didn't come home. Tears streamed down Elena's face. You chose us because no one would miss us. I chose you because you were perfect. And you almost were. 16 dead. One survivor. A nice clean story about cartel brutality. Case closed. I ruined it by surviving. You complicated it, but complications can be managed. For 18 months, you've been a manageable complication. A traumatized veteran with PTSD, harmless. Until I started asking questions. Until you found Spectre. Until you got evidence. Until you became a problem again. Reynolds stood, raised his weapon. But problems have solutions. Goodbye, Staff Sergeant. A gunshot echoed across the field. Elena flinched, but the pain didn't come. Reynolds' eyes went wide. He looked down at his chest, blood spreading. He turned. Sarah stood 10 meters behind him, gun raised, hands shaking. She'd taken the shot. Reynolds tried to raise his weapon. Sarah fired again. 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 Reynolds collapsed. Didn't move. Sarah ran to Elena. Oh God, your leg. Tourniquet, now. Sarah's EMT training kicked in. She stripped off her belt, wrapped it tight above the wound, twisted until the bleeding slowed. We need to get you to a hospital. No hospitals. They'll find us. Elena, you'll die. I've died before. It didn't stick. Elena forced herself to focus. Reynolds, he said he planned Blackfire. Hayes was just the money man. I heard. There are others, higher up. This goes deeper than Hayes. Right now you're bleeding out on a dirt road. Conspiracies can wait. No, they can't. Spectre. Where's Spectre? Sarah looked toward the rocks. I left him there. He couldn't move. Get him. We need him alive. He's the only witness who can connect everything. Elena. Go. I'll be fine. Sarah hesitated, then ran. Elena lay in the dirt, staring at the sky, 16 faces floating in her vision. I'm getting closer, she whispered. I know who killed you now. All of them. I'm going to burn their whole operation down. The faces said nothing, but she felt them, waiting, watching, counting on her. Sarah returned with Spectre. He was worse. Skin ashen, breathing ragged, but conscious. Reynolds, he managed, dead. Good. He was the architect, the one who designed all of it. He told me, before Sarah shot him. Spectre nodded weakly. There's more, things I didn't tell you, things I was afraid to tell anyone. Tell me now. Reynolds didn't work alone. He had backing, from inside the government, people at the very top. Names. I don't have names, but I have account numbers, hidden in the flash drive data. If you follow the money, it leads to... He coughed, blood on his lips. Leads where? The Pentagon, the White House, everywhere. Elena's mind reeled. This wasn't just a rogue colonel selling secrets. This was systemic, institutional. 16 soldiers had died not because of one traitor, but because of an entire system of traitors. How do we expose it? You need the original source, the server where all the records are kept. It's at a black site. Virginia, I can give you the location. You'll be dead before we get there. Spectre smiled grimly. Probably, but you won't be, and you're the only one stubborn enough to see this through. He grabbed her hand. Promise me. Promise you'll finish this, not just for your team, for everyone they've killed. Everyone they'll kill if they're not stopped. Elena gripped his hand. I promise. Spectre's eyes clouded. Thank you. I'm tired. So tired. His grip loosened, his breathing slowed, stopped. Sarah checked his pulse, shook her head. Spectre was gone. They sat in silence for a long moment. Elena cradling her wounded leg, Sarah staring at the old man's body. He died so we could have information. He died because people in our government murdered him. Slowly, over 18 months. What do we do now? Elena forced herself to stand. Pain screamed through her leg. She ignored it. We finish this, like I promised. You can barely walk. Then I'll crawl. Sarah stood. No, we'll find another way. You said Tyler was helping. Call him. Elena pulled out her phone. Miracle. Still working. She dialed. Carter. What happened? You never showed at the meeting point. Ambush. Reynolds was the mole. He's dead. Specter's dead. I'm wounded. Jesus, where are you? I don't know. Somewhere in the middle of nowhere, but I have information. Everything we need to bring down the whole operation. What do you need from me? Stone. I need Stone to know that Reynolds was the architect, that Hayes was just a piece, that this goes all the way to the top. Stone's been arrested. Elena's blood froze. What? Hayes pulled strings, called in favors. Stone's being held on suspicion of conspiracy. They're saying he fabricated evidence to frame Hayes. That's insane. That's politics. Hayes has powerful friends. Stone has evidence that threatens powerful people. They're closing ranks. Elena leaned against a tree, everything falling apart. Then we go public, media, journalists, but we blow this wide open. With what proof Reynolds is dead? Specter is dead. The flash drive can be dismissed as fabricated. You're a wanted fugitive with PTSD. They'll destroy your credibility before you can say a word. Then what? We just give up. No. Tyler's voice hardened. We get undeniable proof, the kind they can't dismiss. Specter mentioned a server, black site in Virginia, original records. You have a location. Elena remembered Specter's last words. He told me before he died, if we can get those records, then we have everything, dates, names, money trails, everything they've tried to bury. It won't be unguarded. Nothing worth having is. Elena thought, I can't do this alone. Not in my condition. You won't be alone. Give me 4 hours. I'll come to you with help. What kind of help? The kind that owes you their future. Marcus, Jessica, Kevin, Derek. They've been waiting to do something. To prove they've changed, this is their chance. They're recruits, not soldiers. They're soldiers because of you. You trained them. You showed them what they could be. Let them prove it. Elena closed her eyes. 16 ghosts, 4 recruits, 1 wounded survivor, against an entire corrupt system. Impossible odds, just like Honduras. 4 hours. Don't be late. Never. The line went dead. Sarah watched her. Now what? Elena limped toward the road. Now we hide, rest, and wait for backup. And then we go to war.
Yeah.
4 hours later, Tyler arrived. 3 cars, 8 people, Tyler, Jessica, Kevin, Derek, plus 4 others Elena didn't recognize. Who are they? Friends, soldiers who served under commanders who got screwed by the same system. They heard what we're doing. They wanted in. Elena looked at them, young, scared, determined, just like her team had been. You understand what we're walking into, black site. Armed guards, 0 official backup. If we fail, we're traitors. If we succeed, we might still be traitors. Tyler stepped forward. You taught me that strength isn't in how you look. It's in how you rise. We're here to rise. Jessica nodded. You showed us who we could be. Now we show you who we've become. Kevin held up a laptop. I've been researching the site, security protocols, guard rotations. I can get us in. Derek cracked his knuckles. And I can handle anyone who gets in our way. Elena looked at each of them. These weren't the arrogant recruits who'd mocked her scars. These were soldiers, her soldiers. Okay? She straightened despite the pain. Here's the plan. So, the black site was buried in the Virginia mountains. Officially, it didn't exist. No signs, no maps, no records. Just a concrete bunker built into a hillside guarded by men in unmarked uniforms carrying weapons that weren't supposed to exist. Kevin had done his homework. 12 guards, 4-hour rotations, cameras on all approaches, motion sensors in the perimeter. Weaknesses. Power supply, single generator. If we take it out, we get 90 seconds before backup kicks in. 90 seconds of darkness. That's not much time. It's enough if we're fast. Elena studied the diagrams. Entry points. Main entrance is suicide, but there's a ventilation shaft on the north side. Old construction, not on the updated security plans. Big enough for 1 person. That's me, Sarah protested. Your leg can wait. I've fought through worse. Elena, this is what I do. You get me to that shaft. I get inside. I find the server, download everything, get out. And if you can't get out, Elena met her eyes, then you make sure this information reaches the right people. Stone, media, congressional oversight, everyone. I'm not leaving without you. You'll do what needs to be done. That's what soldiers do. Sarah's jaw tightened, but she nodded. When do we move? Elena looked at the sky. Sun setting, darkness coming. Now. They moved through the forest like ghosts, Elena leading despite the pain. Every step agony, every breath determination. They reached the perimeter at 2100 hours. Kevin pointed. Generators there, ventilation shaft is 200 meters north. Okay, Tyler, you take Jessica and Derek, hit the generator on my signal. Kevin, you're with Sarah, hold this position. Anyone comes, you stop them. What about you? I'll be inside. Elena checked her weapon. 90 seconds, that's all I need. Tyler grabbed her arm. Carter, Elena, thank you for everything. She looked at him. This man who'd called her Scarface, who'd mocked her scars, who'd become something better because she'd given him the chance. Don't thank me yet. Thank me when we're done. She moved into the darkness, toward the shaft, toward the truth, toward the reckoning that had been 18 months in coming. 16 ghosts walked beside her, waiting for justice. Tonight they would finally have it, or she would die trying. The ventilation shaft was narrow, dark, smelling of rust and old air. Elena crawled, pain screaming through her leg with every movement. She didn't stop, couldn't stop. Martinez, Webb, Reyes, Kim, Thompson, Brooks. Their names were her heartbeat. Their faces were her fuel. She reached the interior grate, looked down. Server room, rows of computers, blinking lights, humming drives, 2 guards. Elena checked her watch. 30 seconds until Tyler hit the generator. 20, 10. The lights went out. Elena kicked the grate, dropped into darkness. The guard shouted. Confused, she moved. First guard, 3 steps, knife to throat. Second guard, turning, weapon rising. She was faster. Disarm, strike. Down. 10 seconds gone. She ran to the main terminal, plugged in the drive Kevin had given her, started the download. Progress bar crawling, 20%, 30, lights flickering, backup generator coming online, 40%, 50, alarm starting to wail, 60, 70, footsteps in the corridor, reinforcements, 80, 90. The door burst open. Elena grabbed the drive. Incomplete, but enough. She ran, not toward the shaft, toward the emergency exit Kevin had identified. Gunfire behind her. She didn't look back. Burst through the door, into the night, into freedom. Tyler's voice in her earpiece. Carter, we've got company, multiple vehicles incoming. Fall back, everyone fall back. She ran through the forest, legs screaming, vision blurring, but the drive was in her hand. The truth was in her hand. And nothing, not bullets, not blood, not the entire corrupt system was going to take it from her. Elena ran until her leg gave out. She collapsed against a tree, blood soaking through the makeshift bandage. The drive clutched in her fist like a lifeline, because it was. Everything they needed, every secret, every name, every dollar that paid for 16 American lives. Carter. Tyler's voice crackled in her ear. Where are you, Tikan? North side, 200 meters from the exit. I can't move. Hold on, we're coming. Gunfire in the distance. Shouts. Chaos. Elena forced herself to breathe. In for 4. Hold for 4. Out for 4. The old technique. The one that had kept her alive in Honduras. Footsteps approaching. She raised her weapon. It's me. Sarah emerged from the darkness. Kevin right behind her. Oh God, your leg. Forget the leg. Did everyone get out? Tyler's group is pinned down. Jessica took a hit. They need help. Elena grabbed Sarah's arm, used it to stand. Then let's go help them. You can barely. I said let's go. They moved through the forest. Elena leaning on Sarah. Kevin covering their rear. The sounds of battle grew louder. They found Tyler behind a fallen log. Derek beside him. Jessica on the ground, clutching her shoulder, blood between her fingers. How bad? Elena dropped beside her. Through and through. Hurts like hell, but I'll live. Where are the hostiles? Tyler pointed. 12 o'clock. 6 of them. Maybe more. They've got us boxed in. Elena assessed the situation. 6 enemies, 8 allies, 1 wounded, 1 crippled. Bad odds, but she'd had worse. Kevin, you still have those charges, 2 left. Give them to me. Kevin handed over the explosives. Elena armed them. On my signal, everyone runs east. Don't stop. Don't look back. What are you going to do? Sarah's voice was tight. Even the odds. Elena, this isn't a discussion. Get ready. Elena crawled toward the enemy position. Every movement sent fire through her leg. She didn't care. 30 meters. 20. 10. She could see them now. 6 men in tactical gear. Focused on Tyler's position. Not watching their flank. Mistake. Elena placed the first charge. Crawled to a second position. Placed the second charge. Crawled back. Now, she hit the detonator. The explosions were deafening. Trees shattered. Earth erupted. Men screamed. Elena didn't wait to count casualties. Move, everyone, move. They ran, stumbled through the darkness, behind them chaos. Ahead freedom. They reached the vehicles 5 minutes later. Piled in, Tyler floored it. They disappeared into the night. 3 hours later, they stopped at a motel outside Richmond. Different state, different jurisdiction, temporary safety. Elena sat on the bed while Sarah worked on her leg. This needs surgery, real surgery, not field medicine. Later. Lena, after we finish this, then I'll get surgery. I'll get therapy. I'll get whatever I need, but not until Hayes is in handcuffs. Sarah tied off the bandage. You're the most stubborn person I've ever met. That's how I survived Honduras. Kevin sat at the desk, laptop open. The drive plugged in. I'm in. The download wasn't complete, but we got about 70%. Is it enough? Kevin scrolled through files, his face going pale. It's more than enough. This is everything. Bank transfers going back 5 years. Authorization codes with digital signatures. Communication logs between Hayes Reynolds and at least a dozen others. Names: Senator Morrison, General Clark, Deputy Director Stevens at CIA. 3 more I don't recognize, but their positions are high, really high. Tyler looked over his shoulder. This is bigger than we thought. This is exactly what I thought. Elena's voice was cold. 16 soldiers don't die without serious people making serious decisions. Now we know who. What do we do with it? Elena closed her eyes, thought about her options. Stone was in custody. Official channels were compromised. The people implicated had the power to bury anything. We go public, every journalist, every news outlet, every social media platform, all of it, at once. They'll try to discredit you. Let them try. The evidence speaks for itself. Derek stepped forward. My cousin works at the Washington Post, investigative division. She's been looking for something big. This is big. Can you trust her? With my life. Then contact her. Tell her she's about to get the story of her career. Derek pulled out his phone, started typing. Elena looked at the others. Everyone understand what happens next. Once this goes public, there's no going back. We'll be targets, all of us, for the rest of our lives. Tyler met her eyes. We've been targets since the moment we decided to help you. At least now we'll be targets who told the truth. Jessica, arm in a sling, nodded. I'd rather die honest than live a coward. Kevin kept typing. The data's uploading now. Multiple secure servers. They can't stop it. Even if they kill all of us, the information's out there. Elena felt something shift in her chest. Hope. For the first time in 18 months. Then let's finish this. The next morning, the story broke. Every major network, every newspaper, every website. Military scandal rocks Washington. Secret operation killed 16 American soldiers. Pentagon officials implicated in cover-up spanning 3 years. Sole survivor of Shadow Unit 9 reveals truth behind massacre. Elena watched from the motel room as her face appeared on screen after screen. Not the wanted fugitive they'd branded her. the hero who'd exposed the truth. Hayes has been arrested. Kevin read from his laptop. Real arrest this time. FBI took him into custody an hour ago. Stone's been released. He's holding a press conference. They gathered around the television. General Stone stood at a podium, cameras flashing, microphones everywhere. The men and women of Shadow Unit 9 were heroes. They served their country with honor. They died because they were betrayed by people who swore to protect them. Today we begin the process of making that right. He paused. I want to address Staff Sergeant Elena Carter directly. Sergeant Carter, if you're watching this, know that your country owes you an apology. What you endured, what you surveyed, what you sacrificed to bring this truth to light, that is the definition of heroism. Come home. You're not a fugitive. You're a patriot. Sarah grabbed Elena's hand. He's clearing your name. He's doing what should have been done 18 months ago. Elena stood, walked to the window, looked out at the morning sun. It's not over. Hayes is arrested, but the others, Morrison, Clark, Stevens, they'll fight. They'll use every resource to avoid justice. Let them fight. Tyler stood beside her. The evidence is out there. Millions of people have seen it. They can't put this back in the box. Some of them will escape. That's how power works. Maybe, but not all of them. And the ones who don't escape will spend the rest of their lives looking over their shoulders. Elena thought about that. About Hayes in a cell. About Reynolds dead in a field. About the system that had created them exposed now for the world to see. Not perfect justice, but justice nonetheless. We should go back, she said finally. Face whatever comes. Finish this properly. Are you sure? No, but it's the right thing to do. The drive back to Fort Bragg took 6 hours. Elena spent most of it silent, watching the country roll past, thinking about the road that had led here. Boot camp, the mess hall, the scars they'd mocked, the skills they'd doubted, the truth they'd never imagined. Sarah drove. Tyler rode shotgun. The others followed in separate vehicles, a convoy of people who'd become family, forged in fire, bound by purpose. When they reached the base, everything had changed. No hostility, no suspicion. Soldiers lined the road, saluting, hundreds of them. Word had spread. Everyone knew who she was, what she'd done, what she'd survived. Elena felt tears building, fought them back, but they came anyway. 18 months of pain, 18 months of isolation, 18 months of being called crazy, traumatized, broken. And now this, recognition, respect, vindication. General Stone met them at the command building. He came to attention, saluted. Staff Sergeant Carter, welcome home. Elena returned the salute. General, we have a lot to discuss. But first, he gestured to the crowd of soldiers behind him. They wanted to honor you properly. A formation, 300 soldiers in perfect rows, and in front of them, a banner. Shadow Unit 9, never forgotten. Below it, 17 photographs, 16 dead, 1 survivor. Elena's knees buckled. Tyler caught her, held her up. Easy, I've got you. I can't. Yes, you can. They need to see you stand. One more time. Elena straightened, wiped her eyes, walked forward. The formation parted, created a path to the memorial. She walked it alone, step by painful step, until she stood before the photographs. Martinez, Webb, Reyes, Kim, Thompson, Brooks, all of them, smiling, frozen in time. I did it, she whispered. I found out who killed you. I made them pay. I told the world what happened. The photographs said nothing, but she felt them. For the first time in 18 months, she felt them at peace. I'm sorry it took so long. I'm sorry I couldn't save you. I'm sorry I'm the one who walked out when all of you deserved to live more than me. Tears streaming now. No point fighting them. But I promise you this. I will never stop honoring you. I will never stop telling your story, and I will spend every day of the rest of my life making sure your sacrifice meant something. She touched each photograph, said each name, a prayer, a promise, a goodbye. The formal ceremony came 3 days later. Full military honors. The Secretary of Defense flew in personally. Elena stood at attention while medals were pinned to her chest. Distinguished Service Cross, Legion of Merit, Purple Heart with clusters. But the medal that mattered most came last. General Stone placed it in her hand. The unit citation for Shadow Unit 9. "This belongs to all of them," Stone said quietly, "but you're the one who has to carry it. You're the one who has to make sure the world remembers." "I will, sir." "I know you will." He stepped back. The Secretary of Defense approached the podium. The actions of Staff Sergeant Elena Carter represent the highest ideals of military service. In the face of unimaginable adversity, she chose truth over comfort, justice over safety, honor over survival. Today we recognize that sacrifice. But more than that, we commit to ensuring that what happened to Shadow Unit 9 never happens again. He looked directly at Elena. "Staff Sergeant Carter, the President of the United States, has authorized me to offer you any assignment you desire, any posting, any position. The nation owes you a debt that can never be fully repaid." Elena stepped forward. "With respect, sir, I know what I want." "Name it." "I want to teach at the Special Operations Training Facility. I want to train the next generation. Make sure they're ready for whatever they face. Make sure they come home." The secretary nodded. "Done, that it. And one more thing." "Yes," Elena's voice carried across the field. "I want a memorial, a real one, for Shadow Unit 9, with their names, their faces, their stories, so that every soldier who trains at Fort Bragg knows who they were and why they mattered." "Also done," Elena saluted. "Thank you, sir." The ceremony ended with a 21-gun salute. Elena stood at attention through every shot, each one a tribute, each one a goodbye, each one a promise. That evening, Elena found herself alone at the memorial. The photographs glowed in the fading light. Candles had been placed beneath each one. Flowers, notes, tokens. Soldiers had been coming all day, paying respects, honoring ghosts they'd never met. Sarah found her there, sat beside her, didn't speak, didn't need to. They sat in silence as the sun went down. Finally, Elena spoke. "I don't know who I am without this mission. For 18 months, finding the truth was all I had. Now it's done, and I don't know what comes next." "What do you want to come next?" "I don't know. I've never thought about it. Never let myself think about it." Sarah took her hand. "Maybe that's where you start. Thinking about what you want, not what you owe, not what you have to do, what you actually want." "I want them back. That's what I want." "I know. But since that's not possible, I want to live, really live, not just survive, not just fight. I want to wake up one morning and not feel guilty for being alive." "That's a good start." "Is it possible after everything?" Sarah squeezed her hand. "I don't know, but I'd like to find out with you, if you'll let me." Elena looked at her, this woman who'd followed her into hell, who'd killed for her, who'd believed in her when no one else did. Why did you do all this? You barely knew me." "Because I saw who you really were, from the first day, underneath the scars, underneath the silence. I saw someone worth fighting for." "I'm not worth—" "Yes, you are. You're worth everything. And one day you'll believe that too." Elena felt something crack inside her. The last wall, the final barrier she'd built around herself, crumbling, letting light in. "I don't know how to do this, any of it. Normal life, relationships, happiness. I don't know how." "Neither do I, but we can learn together." Elena laughed, a real laugh, the first one in 18 months. "You're as stubborn as I am. That's why we work." They sat together as darkness fell, two survivors, finding hope in each other. The trials took 8 months. Hayes was convicted first. 25 counts of conspiracy, treason, and murder. Life without parole. Reynolds was dead, but his role was documented for history. Senator Morrison resigned before he could be arrested, died of a heart attack 3 weeks later. Some called it justice. Others called it escape. General Clark turned state's evidence. Got 15 years in exchange for testimony. Deputy Director Stevens tried to run. Made it to Mexico before the FBI caught him. 30 years. 11 others were convicted. Some got decades, some got life. None walked free. Lena testified at every trial. told her story over and over. The jungle, the ambush, the torture, the 40 miles, the truth. Each time it got a little easier. Each time she felt a little more free. 1 year after Operation Blackfire was exposed, the memorial was dedicated. A permanent structure at Fort Bragg, stone walls engraved with 17 names, a bronze statue at the center, a soldier looking forward, one hand extended, reaching for something beyond sight. Hope, future, home. Elena spoke at the dedication. 1 year ago, I was a wanted fugitive at Pergam, a traitor, a crazy woman with PTSD, making wild accusations. Today I stand before you because the truth won, because the 16 people on this wall deserve justice, and because there are good people in this world, people in this audience who risked everything to do what was right. She looked at Tyler, Jessica, Kevin, Derek, Sarah, her family. Shadow Unit 9 taught me what it meant to be a soldier. They taught me honor, sacrifice, brotherhood, and when they died, I thought I had lost everything. But I was wrong. Pause. Because what they taught me lives on. In every soldier I train. In every life that's saved because someone learned the lessons they paid for in blood. In every person who looks at this memorial and remembers that courage has a cost and that some people are willing to pay it. She touched the stone. Martinez, Webb, Reyes, Kim, Thompson, Brooks, all of you, you are not forgotten. You will never be forgotten. And I will spend the rest of my life making sure of that. She stepped back, saluted. 300 soldiers returned the salute. Silence. Then applause. Not the polite kind, the thunderous kind, the kind that shook the ground. Elena stood in the middle of it, letting it wash over her, finally feeling what she'd never thought she'd feel again. Whole. That night, Elena walked through the base one last time, past the mess hall where they'd mocked her scars, past the shooting range where she'd proven herself, past the obstacle course where everything had changed. Sarah walked beside her. Any regrets? Millions, but not about this. Not about any of it. What happens now? Elena stopped, looked at the stars. The same stars she'd looked at in Honduras. The same stars her team had watched their last night alive. Now I teach. Now I build. Now I make sure what happened to Shadow 9 never happens again. And us, Elena took her hand. Us is whatever we want it to be. I'm done letting other people decide my future. Sarah smiled. I like the sound of that. They walked toward the instructor quarters. Elena's new home. Their new home. Behind them, the memorial glowed in the moonlight. 17 names, 17 heroes, one survivor, carrying their legacy forward. 6 months later, Elena stood before her first class of special operations candidates. 20 soldiers, the best of the best, eyes hungry, ready to learn. My name is Staff Sergeant Elena Carter. I'm the sole survivor of Shadow Unit 9, Operation Blackfire. You've heard the stories. You've seen the news. You think you know what happened. She met each pair of eyes. You don't know anything, but you will, because I'm going to teach you everything. How to fight, how to think, how to survive, and most importantly, how to come home. She held up a photograph. 17 faces. These are the people who taught me. They paid for those lessons with their lives. Every day you're in my class, you'll remember them. Every drill, every exercise, every moment of pain, because the skills I'm teaching you are written in their blood. She set the photograph down. Some of you won't make it. Some of you will wash out. Some of you might think I'm too hard, too demanding, too unforgiving. Pause. You're right, I am, because the battlefield is harder. The enemy is more demanding, and death is completely unforgiving. She walked among them. But those of you who make it through, you'll be the best soldiers this country has ever produced. You'll face things that would break ordinary people, and you'll win because I'm going to teach you how. She returned to the front. Class begins now. On your feet. 20 soldiers jumped up. Elena smiled, the first real smile in 2 years. Let's begin. 10 years later, Elena stood at the memorial again. Different now. Gray in her hair, lines around her eyes, but strong, still strong. Sarah stood beside her, a ring on her finger. Their daughter played nearby, 8 years old, named Martinez, after the friend Elena had lost. You okay? Sarah asked. Better than okay. Elena looked at the names on the wall. I used to come here every week, talk to them, tell them what was happening, ask for their guidance. And now I don't need to talk as much because I know what they'd say. They'd say, keep going, keep teaching, keep living. Sounds like good advice. It is. Little Martinez ran over. Mama, can we get ice cream? Elena laughed, scooped her daughter up. What do you say, please, then yes. They walked away from the memorial, a family, built from pain, forged in fire, held together by love. Elena paused, looked back one last time. Thank you, she whispered, for everything. The stone said nothing, but the names seemed to glow in the sunlight. 16 soldiers, watching over the woman who'd carried their memory for a decade. Proud, at peace, finally home. And Elena Carter walked forward into the rest of her life, surrounded by the family she'd built and the legacy she'd protected, knowing that some stories don't end with the final page. They echo through time. They shape the future. They remind us that even in the darkest moments, truth can prevail, justice can triumph, and one person with enough courage can change everything. Shadow Unit 9 died in a jungle in Honduras, but they lived on in every soldier Elena trained. Every life she saved, every moment of peace she finally allowed herself to feel. That was their real victory. Not just survival, but meaning, purpose, love. The scars they mocked became the map of her courage. The weakness they assumed became the proof of her strength. And the ghost they tried to bury became the legend that would never die. Staff Sergeant Elena Carter, Shadow 9, survivor, teacher, mother, hero. Some stories deserve to be remembered forever. This is one of them.